Happening today, another batch of monkeypox vaccines are expected to reach San Francisco. The state expects to get about 72,000 more doses. Gianna, on to the fire watch now. The battle continues to save Yosemite National Park's ancient sequoias. Our Andrea Borba found out fire crews are now facing another danger far above the flames.
Best
I am
man
single.
in the Bay, for sure. Oh, well, there you go. He's single.
Just FYI, Gianna, happening tonight, you've got another chance of becoming rich. I'm talking very rich. The Mega Millions jackpot has topped $1.1 billion.
That breaking news of the second arrest, though, that we got within the last 30 minutes allows some of these families to breathe just a little bit easier.
So many of us are talking about this and that indescribable emotional knot when we heard about this school shooting. Even this morning, some parents are scared to even send their children to school. Warriors! Oh, yeah, we are gold-blooded this morning. They will be tonight. And we cannot wait to take home Game 5. That means we'll be going to the NBA Finals. Ooh, that just sounds so good. Michelle, this morning, we're giving you a closer look at the burned brush from last night's fast-moving fire along this hillside here. Yeah, Governor Newsom giving a very sharp warning. Other leaders are calling this a crisis. Those statewide water restrictions could be on the way if people don't cut back now.
It's going pretty good. Anytime I get to eat bread and then talk garlic in the morning time, that's perfect. I want Kevin. He's been a pyro chef for 23 years. Take it away, Kevin. Ah, that sizzle. Doesn't it just sound good?
This morning on the fire watch in Solano County, a grass fire that burned more than 100 acres in 2 hours is now 80% contained. It broke out around 5:30 yesterday in the hills above Benicia and grew to 115 acres before crews stopped its forward progress. No damages or injuries reported there. That's good news. In eastern Contra Costa County, that air quality advisory we've been telling you about for the last couple of days has been extended through the rest of today. It's due to a fire burning in a marsh, sending smoke drifting into Bay Point and Pittsburgh. To Yosemite now, where containment of the Washburn fire has now grown to 23%, and the fire itself is growing slowly. It now covers about 4,300 acres near the park's southern entrance, up from about 3,800 on Tuesday. And while the flames are moving away from a nearby grove of giant sequoias, the fire is moving into some challenging terrain. On the Bay Area beat this morning, Uber is facing a lawsuit from more than 500 women claiming they were assaulted by drivers. A complaint filed Wednesday in San Francisco claims women were kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and in some cases even beaten and raped. The suit also claims Uber was aware of the attacks as early as 2014 and failed to act to protect passengers. We had to reach out to Uber on this one to get their response. We have not yet heard back. As we take a live look from San Francisco General this morning, where people will begin lining up. The city of San Francisco says it needs about 70,000 shots itself to get a handle on the outbreak. There's currently 305 confirmed cases in the city compared to 786 across the state. The increasing case count caused some concern that the Door Alley Festival over the weekend would be a super spreader event. But health officials and organizers say instead of stigmatizing the event, they use it to educate people about monkeypox. Booths were set up at the street fair entrance, teaching people more about the virus and the importance of vaccination. Well, developing this morning, some owners struggling with rising inflation and are making a difficult decision to surrender their cat or dog to animal shelters in some areas of the country. CBS's Michael George explaining this story for us. It's just unfortunate the way inflation is just trickling, and hitting on many different things of our, parts of our lives. And that's just one example. Plus, a manager of an East Bay business fought off would-be thieves, but the manager ended up in cuffs. We're sorting through this story when we come back. Thanks for sticking with us. It's 5:15 on the Bay Area Beat now. An Oakland store manager who chased away would-be thieves got handcuffed by police. It happened early Sunday morning at U&I Liquor on Telegraph Avenue. That manager says he armed himself after two intruders broke into a store. He chased them away. The manager tried to get the attention of a passing CHP car to get help. Instead, he ended up in handcuffs. So you're looking live at SF General. Monkeypox vaccines are on the way to San Francisco right now. Look at the line here. This is a live picture. People are already lining up there before the clinic even opens at 8 o'clock this morning. Stick with us. What they do is way more than just the normal work of an EMT, though. They literally canvass the streets of Oakland, running into people who distrust hospitals, don't have access to them, or have unmedicated mental health issues. Macro steps in and brings the service to them. I met one guy who desperately needs this. For 7 years, Eric Hale has been living here on the streets in East Oakland.
I don't even know how it feels to be inside anymore.
That's because outside is home for him. His wheelchair, his place of comfort. A few months ago, he got a spider bite and it laid eggs, infecting his leg badly.
If they wasn't here to do this, man, I probably would lose my leg.
That's where Jazare Armas comes in.
We run into people with infected wounds that have gone unaddressed.
She's a macro responder and EMT. Growing up in Oakland, she's experienced some things, even felt helpless. So now she's doing what she can to be the person she needed back then.
It's also given me a purpose to give back to the community because the community has given so much to me. MACRO,
I mentioned it earlier. It stands for Mobile Assistance Community Responders of Oakland. It's a pilot program now, but eventually this team will respond to nonviolent, non-emergency 911 calls, all to meet the needs of the community and to one day free up the emergency service system.
Macro 4 will show you in service.
Joshua Hayes is Jazare's partner. He says the last 9 weeks of this has been focused on community engagement and letting people know Macro is here to assist them.
The need will be different call to call, but what we're seeing an overwhelming amount of is a need for interaction and care and empathy.
Their interaction is different and comes from the heart.
We have people coming up to us all the time saying, thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank yous from people like Eric.
I need them. I really need them. I'll let them know, too.
Knowing if these macro EMTs weren't here.
All right. Ow, man. A spider, a little spider, man.
He says he may not have been here either. All right, so we can tell from that story that macro services are so necessary. There are so many people out there like Eric who needs compassionate services to come to them. Again, this program is in the pilot stages right now, but there are plans for this to fully launch. We know San Francisco launched a similar program about 1.5 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. That breaking news of that second arrest, though, that we got within the last 30 minutes allows some of these families to breathe just a little bit easier. The family of Sergio Harris, though, I talked to his mother just seconds, minutes, and hours after that first arrest. Take a listen. Does this bring any level of closure or not at all?
There ain't gonna be no closure. Never will be closure. You will never have closure when you lose a child.
With at least one man in cuffs, closure will never happen for Mrs. Harris. Her 38-year-old son, Sergio, was one of the 6 people killed in what authorities say is Sacramento's largest mass shooting in history.
They're going to get the rest of them. Whoever's involved, they're going to get them.
Police say there were multiple shooters. They are also poring over multiple cameras that captured at least some of what went down, hoping to track down those who pulled the trigger.
How in the hell do you sleep at night knowing that you came out there and just intentionally shot up a club?
Sunday night, police say at least 70 bullets were flying, killing 3 men, 3 women, and hurting at least a dozen others.
What they did was uncalled for. They have hurt a lot of families with this happening. You know, not just my family, but there's 5 other families that is hurt by this, you know, and right now I'm devastated.
The devastation will forever haunt her as she's now forced to fill a void that nobody can ever fill. To ever pull the trigger, Mrs. Harris has this to say.
I'm just sick in the stomach right now behind this.
Totally understand. Totally
it's
understand.
Terrible.
Yeah.
There's no way in the world these people should have got killed because somebody's a coward. You are cowards.
Now, detectives say this is a highly complex case. Again, at this point this morning, we have 2 individuals who are in custody in connection to this shooting. Right now, detectives are looking at any and all surveillance video, physical evidence, and also witness accounts of what went down that Sunday morning. We're live in Sacramento this morning. I'm Justin Andrews, KPIX 5.